darlings. It's our final night of LoveFest. Where on earth have the days gone? Can't believe it. What a pleasure it has been to spend the last 3 days with you, but I know we had Sunday night together as well, so a little bit longer. Yeah, I'm really keen to dive in tonight and can't wait to receive your questions and keen to hear your feedback on how you found the playbook. And I've got something really, really juicy to share with you tonight. This is some training that actually only members of my Love Lounge membership and my Daring and Mighty Love Mastermind have heard before. So I'm really glad to share some of this with you tonight. And like I said, receive your questions as well. So as you're joining, say hi. And if you're on the replay, you know the drill by now. Type in #replay so that I can keep an eye on who's watching. So who's already here? And I can see the numbers rising. Emma, hello, darling. Emma, you've been on it this week. I've really noticed. I think you're enjoying yourself. Clara is here. I'm on the train, but still joining. Well, that's commitment right there. I love it. Karen is here. Hi, Karen. Rachel, hello, hello. Good to have you. And Helen's back. Hi. And Joe's back. Do you know, I love it when you come back. That's really reassuring for me, right? You're obviously receiving a lot to actually come and give up your evening, night after night after night after night. That's really cool. So thank you. I really appreciate you spending time with me. And clearly I must be delivering some good value. So I'm really pleased for that. Hello, Ruth. Hi. Hi, Lisa. Good to see you. Oh, I like the little dress emoji. That's super cute. Charlie's back. Hi, Charlie. How you doing? Keep saying hi as you're joining. Christine's here. Hello. Good to see you. Anyone else? Anyone else want to say hi? Really good to be with you tonight, darlings. So day three, create yourself. Are you printing off the playbook each day? How did you find the playbook today? It's a pretty good one, right? I'm answering my own question. How did you find it? Maybe I'll just sit and wait for your response rather than saying what I think. But I do think it's a pretty good one today. I'd love to hear how it was for you, though. Let me know if you printed off the playbook and answered the questions and got involved with that today. Jess is here. Hi, Jess. Lorraine, hi, darling. Good to have you both. So who's done the playbook today? Who did the Wheel of Magnetism? I know some of you here have done my 5-day Meet Your Soulmate challenge, and we do these in the challenge. So actually mine hasn't printed off very well. The wheel? Who did that today? And what did it look like? Was it a nice sort of expanded wheel, meaning that you're super in touch with your feminine energy and super magnetic? Or was it a little jaggy? Or was it like restricted and contracted in the center? What did your wheels look like? I'd love to hear. And does anyone, you guys have been quiet tonight. Remember, I'm talking to a screen here. I need your feedback. Emma did it. Yay. Good stuff. Excellent. Jess, I did, and I was much better than in the other challenge. Awesome. So your circle has expanded somewhat then. That's very exciting to see. That's why these things, sort of visuals, are kind of fun, because we can actually visually see our progress, which is really nice, because when we get so caught in our heads and we are always, and this is what we do, this is our humanness, always focusing on the next thing to do, the next thing to achieve, what we haven't done, to actually see a visual representation of some expansion and change is really encouraging. So I'm glad that you did that and that you saw that, Jess. Clara, I have to admit, I didn't. We have King's Day today, and I was in Rotterdam with friends. Oh, how very lovely. King's Day. We don't have one of those in the UK. Christine, the playbook was great, interesting and eye-opening. Well, watch this space, darling, because I think what you're going to get tonight's training is going to take the playbook to the next level. Okay, so I'm going to open those eyes a little bit more. Lorraine's going to do it later. It was working today. Awesome. Well, you've got it there, right? It doesn't disappear. You have it and you can print it off and do it in your own time. Okie dokie. So, darlings, before I do dive into today's training, oh, hold on, I'm missing some comments here. Joe's saying mine was so different than before. So your wheel of magnetism was very different. Okay, cool. Is it like in a good way? Wendy, hello. Some very low scores for desire, pleasure, fun, and joy. Well, I'm not really surprised, honey, and you won't be the only one. It's a thing because, and look, I'll say no more. When we dive into the training tonight, I think that will probably become apparent as to why. Oh, Sarah's here. Hi, darling. Good evening. Really did all the work this time. Great. That's awesome. Yeah, you've been on it, Emma. You've really been on it. I've noticed. Clara, yes, we always celebrate the birthday of the king in the Netherlands, and it's a party everywhere. How cool is that? How fun. Very fun. In a good way. That's good, Joe. Pleased to hear it. And Verity's here. Hello, darling. Welcome back. Good to have you back. I love that you're all returning, that you're all spending your evenings with me. Now, I don't know how long we'll be here tonight. We may well wrap up a little earlier this evening. I think this training with questions will probably take us about an hour, but let's see how we go. I'm available to stay a little bit longer if we need to, but if we can wrap up around 9-ish, that would be good. Let's just see how we do. Now, before I dive into the training, I just do need to remind you, the Self-Love Essential Collection sales are going well. I've had lots of questions today. I can sense there's a few of you very much on the fence, not too sure. I'm not sure what I can do to help you with that right now. Do you have any questions for me? You're so welcome to ask them. I'm so welcome to answer. There's still a couple of places left for the bonus. The first 10 women to purchase will get the bonus private one-to-one call with me. It's a couple of those left. So if you're going to get those last couple of spots, you're going to probably want to commit to purchasing the Essential Collection pretty soon. Okay. So I don't want to rush you because I know what it's like. I'm the kind of woman that I know when it's a yes, but I still like to just sit with it. I like to marinate with it. And but I don't want you to miss the chance to get on that call with me because it's a really valuable call. I really get to spend time with you, to listen to you, to understand where you're coming from and to help you begin your journey on the right foot. I'd love that chance to spend that time with you. So there's still a couple of places there for that. Irene's here. Hello. And just to top line what's included in the Self-Love Essential Collection. Remember, it's a bundle of yumminess. It's a one-stop self-love shop. I'm taking the value of the entire bundle from £1,500 all the way down to £497. So it's just £497. One of the courses in that bundle alone is valued at that. You can go check it out on my website for proof if you need evidence, if you don't believe me. So you're getting tons of value. And you don't have to pay in full. If you want to spread it out over 3 payments, you can pay £170 a month over 3 months. Job done. You're also going to get an entire month's complimentary membership to my Love Lounge membership. In there, you can come onto group coaching calls. You can come onto masterclasses with other experts. You get coached by me in there. It's an amazing community, and you really can feel the support of other women while you start working through the content in the Essential Collection. In the Essential Collection is my 2 signature courses, Self-Love 101, which is a 16-module program with videos, worksheets, meditations, affirmations, the whole lot. There's Love Yourself Free from People Pleasing, which is my 6-module course. Again, audio trainings, videos, worksheets, affirmations, meditations, playlists, the works. Then you get 4 bonus meditation albums, which includes my children's album. So if you've got kids or friends with kids, they're going to love it. And you're going to love it too, I promise. There's hundreds of hours of content from subjects like self-love to dating and relationships to healing the people pleaser to what's the other one? There's another. Oh, of course, tonight's subject, masculine, feminine energy dynamics. There's a 10-day manifestation mini course in there. There's interview series. We've got my menopause and we've got next level love interview series. I mean, there is so much in there for you. And there is support in there to help you with your daily self-love plan, your daily spiritual practices and self-love rituals. There's checklists, there's PDFs you can print off, all sorts of things that can help you. It's like a toolkit to really get you supported. And so you do not have to figure anything out. There's nothing to figure out anymore. I'm literally putting it all in one package for you. And you just press and play. You have lifetime access to it. So someone today asked me, but I'm going on holiday. Can I delay starting it? So it doesn't matter. Buy it today. Start it whenever you want. Take as long as you like to work through it. You can work through everything in there, or you could just choose one thing. And I promise you, if you only work through one of the courses in there, you're going to get the value of $497. You're going to receive it. That is what that's worth. So you're going to get that. And then everything else just becomes bells and whistles that you may or may not dip into another time. But it's so great that I think that you will. So yeah, I really invite you to grab it. Oh, hold on a second. I've got some comments. Jane is saying, hi, Katie. I'll watch for a little time, but we'll have to watch the playbacks. Excited to be here. No problem, Jane. Thank you for being here today. And I love that little profile picture of yours. Is that a cat? I love cats. I have a cat. My cat sleeps on my pillow at night. She will, wherever I sit down, she will come and sit on me. And quite often I wake up and she's asleep on my face. I love my cat. Irene, if he has questions about a particular module we are doing after we have purchased the bundle, how do we connect with you? If we have questions after a particular module, how do we connect with you? Well, so you're not purchasing my private coaching, that's for sure. What you do get is a free month in the Love Lounge. So if in that month you have any questions at all about the work you're doing in the Self-Love Essentials collection, so any of the courses in there, you can bring those questions into the Love Lounge. You can bring them into the Facebook group. You can bring them onto the group coaching calls. I can support you there. But after your month in the Love Lounge, you won't have my personal support anymore. So you would want to stay in the Love Lounge for that. So if more personal support is important to you in a low-level group environment, you get that in the Love Lounge. If you want more than that, that's a whole other conversation. So yeah. But I must say, the way that the online courses are structured and put together, it's so simple. It's so self-explanatory. I don't think you'll have any questions about the process of actually working through the course. What you might have questions about is your own situation, and you might want a bit of coaching around it, because that would be fun, right? That would be incredibly valuable to have coaching support on top of working through a home study program. And you can get that in the Love Lounge. And like I said, you get an entire month free of that to start with. And if you find that you're benefiting from that and you really enjoy that, you can stay on in the Love Lounge. Okay, we'd love to have you. And the great thing, by the way, as well in the Love Lounge, you won't be the only one working through the courses. So there'll be other women in there who've purchased this collection, who are working through other pieces of like bodies of work I've created. They're working through it. So you're not on your own doing home study courses, and you can collaborate in there. You can bring your struggles, you can bring your wins, you can ask each other questions. So that's what the membership is really great for as well. Verity is saying, I'm going to Ibiza at 2 a.m. I'll have time to really digest it all tomorrow and Friday when sat relaxed. When I'm there, just want to feel into it more when less rush. I get it, Verity. Yeah, take your time. Take your time. You have until 8 p.m. Sunday night. Okay, it will close down at 8 p.m. on Sunday night. So breathe into it, feel into it, take your time. If you really want the private 30-minute call with me, don't take your time. You're going to have to hurry if you want that. If you're not so bothered about that, it is worth about 150, 200 pounds, just saying. If you're not that bothered, chill. Don't worry about it. Buy at the last minute on Sunday afternoon if you want. It's not like it's a limited quantity available. The only limitation is getting that call with me. There's only 10 of those. Okie dokie. So anyone here already purchased it? I know who has, but I'm not going to out you because I know that, you know, your personal growth is your own story, it's your own business. But yeah, anyone here who's purchased and wants to say that they have, wants to celebrate themselves for saying yes to themselves, I would love to celebrate you. Okay, darlings, let's... Sarah, you were the first. Sarah, you were the first. You got to book your call in. You got the email today, I hope. I trust you received the email with the link. You must book your call in. I know other calls are getting booked in. Monday the 9th of May is getting very booked up. That's the first available date. And everyone's like, I want that date. Yeah. Okie dokie. So shall we dive into the training? Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. Day 3, create yourself. So day 1 was know yourself. Day 2 was love yourself. Today, day 3 is create yourself. I don't know if you can feel the energy of that, but it's very much we're moving into know yourself. It's very head space. Love yourself. We're moving down into heart space. Create yourself. We're like taking it all out. We're like moving out. We're tapping into our desires and calling in what we want. It's very exciting. And in order to do that, in order to be able to tap into our desires and take inspired action towards our goals and desires and dreams, what I'm going to share with you tonight is crucial. Yes, Clara, it does feel like embodiment. She's on it. She is on it. Even though she's on the train, she's on it. Okay, one sec. Let me just get rid of something there that I don't want to see. Yeah, that's a bit cleaner. Okay. How to achieve, this is what I promised you tonight, how to achieve a magnetic flow state to build self-trust. So in this little presentation, you're going to discover the key to feeling empowered, peaceful, and confident, how to stop the exhausting internal war to build self-trust and vitality, how to feel aligned, purposeful, and driven in your work without burning out, key, how to communicate confidently and get your needs met, and how to start valuing me time without guilt. What I'm going to share with you now, I am not exaggerating. It is a game changer. You are literally going to be learning a completely new way of doing life. And I am particularly passionate about this topic because what I'm going to share with you now absolutely hand on heart transformed the way I run my business. This is how I discovered the way to creating more money. And just notice my language. Be really conscious to my language as I go through this. Creating more money, not making it, creating it. Through what I'm about to show you, it absolutely contributed to me calling in my soulmate. It was huge. Through this work, I learned how to have an empowered relationship. So I was able to call in an empowered person and how to have an empowered relationship. It improved my mental and emotional health and my general well-being. And now the people I love get the best of me. And I want this for you too. So you have to remember that your energy is everything. In fact, on the top of your playbooks today, it says your energy is everything. Your frequency is pure magic. And it is. When we work with our energy, and we're going to be talking about masculine, feminine energy now, you probably know that because that's entirely what the playbook was about today. When we work with our masculine and feminine energy and we get that aligned, we're literally turning on something inside us that's so magnetic, it does feel like pure magic. Our energetic frequency does become like pure magic. And miraculous stuff just seems to start happening. And life just starts to feel easier. And why is that important for the purposes of LoveFest? Why do we want to learn about this tonight? Because it massively impacts how you feel about yourself and within yourself, and how you feel in relationships, and the kind of person you're bringing to the relationship. You're bringing an empowered woman into your relationships. You're going to stop bringing the disempowered woman into your relationships, which is sabotaging them. Okay? Cool, right? Oh, Karen's just letting us know that she purchased the Self-Love Essential Collection. Whoop, whoop. Thank you for sharing, Karen. Okay, so the key points we're going to cover in this little mini training is we're going to define empowered masculine and empowered feminine energy. Did a little bit of that in the playbook today, but I want to have a little chat about it. How to be in your feminine, learning to trust and value this aspect of yourself. Because I would put money on the fact that at the moment you don't fully trust your own feminine energy. We're going to talk about utopia. It's a thing. Does it really exist? In moments, in snapshots of time, I would say it does. And essentially, that's the flow of empowered masculine and empowered feminine energy. I'm going to look at that. I'm going to define disempowered masculine and disempowered feminine energy. And we're going to look at healing your disempowered patterns, which through the healing of your disempowered patterns, you're going to find your route to feeling confident and empowered. And you're going to feel, as I'm sharing this, it will link to what we talked about yesterday. It will link to what we talked about on day one. It's all interconnected because we're working with energy. It's not black and white. There's going to be crossovers. Yeah. But it helps to look at the different aspects of how we're sabotaging ourselves and our relationships through different lenses. So last night we looked at it very much through the lens of the victim archetype. Tonight we're looking at it through the lens of masculine and feminine energy. Okay. I find the more different aspects and angles that we can look at ourselves from, the more we begin to really understand ourselves, and we find a way of just being with ourselves. So I don't know how to word that better. Okay, so this is what I want you to consider while I am making this little presentation tonight. Just have in the back of your mind, as you're listening to me, how would my relationships change if I was more in tune with my empowered masculine and feminine energies? So how would my relationships change? You might want to just write that down. Just consider that at every step of the way through this presentation. Okie dokie. So we're going to start by looking at the empowered person. Now, very specifically written the word person there, because it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter how you identify. Your gender identification is irrelevant. We all have empowered feminine energy. We all have empowered masculine energy. We all have disempowered versions of this too, and we're going to get to that a little bit later. So just take a moment and look at that slide while I have a sip of my chamomile. And just looking at the feminine, just notice that the qualities of the feminine are, well, first of all, you're connected to your body when you're in your feminine energy. The home of the feminine is the body. And just feel into these words: being, sensing, allowing, intuiting, soft, abstract, surrendered, receptive, tranquil, right brain, creative, collaborative, receiving, desiring. These are the qualities of the empowered feminine. Remember again, men and women, no matter how you identify, have these qualities. When we're in the feminine, we are in receiving mode. You can see the word receiving at the bottom of that list on the left. We need to be in our feminine energy. We need to be really connected and rooted into our feminine energy to be in receiving mode. So if you desire to call in your soulmate, a new partner, you have to be receptive. Your energy needs to be receptive. And the feminine helps you to be in that state. Let's look at the empowered masculine energy. The empowered masculine operates from the head. It's up in here. Doing, thinking, decisive, makes happen, hard, effort. And when I say hard and soft, by the way, it's the feeling of the energy. Okay. You can, I'm hoping that you can kind of feel that intuitively in your body, the difference between feminine and masculine energy. One is soft, one is hard. Neither are right or wrong. Effort, assertive, striving, analytical, left brain, logical, solo, giving, doing. A key word there is giving. The empowered masculine energy makes things happen. It's a giving energy. Yeah, it's an outward flow of energy, whereas the feminine is the receiving energy. It's an inward flow of energy. We need both. And I'm going to talk in a minute about how both work side by side. Okay, now this looks really small, so I might just change my view here and see if you can see it a little bit better. Is that a little easier for you to see? I'm going to have to put my glasses on to be able to see that. Actually, why don't I even do this? Does that make it better? No, then you can't see me. Okay, there we go. So this is a little illustration I put together. I'm not much of an illustrator. That there, those two big circles are a body. In fact, do I have my dolls here? No, I don't. But you know those Russian dolls that sit, you have the big one and then you take the head off and there's a little one inside, you take that off and the little one inside. I can't remember what they're called. I can't remember what they're called, but that's what that is essentially, because I kind of like that shape. So Jane's just commenting, I think I switch energies for different things. Yes, you will, honey. Yeah, you will. All right, stay with me. Stay with me. Actually, before I go on, does anybody have a sense already? And in fact, from your playbook homework, do you have a sense of, let me just see. Yeah, this was one of the questions. Would you like to share with me? I'd love to hear, actually. Polskas, Clara. Yes, that might be what they're called. Yes, those little Russian dolls? I love them. They're too cute. Yes, Russian dolls. Yes. What were your answers? So in the playbook, if anybody is here live that did it, and if you're on replay, just do type hashtag replay and let me know how many of the empowered feminine traits were you able to tick. I'll just go back to the slide. There we go. How many of the empowered feminine traits could you tick? And how many of the empowered masculine traits were you able to tick? And was it a surprise to you? Was it as expected? I mean, Jane's noticed that she's switching for different things, and of course you will. And there's no science to this. There's nothing exact about it. But I wonder if you just got a sense that you're more often in your masculine energy, or are you more in your feminine, or do you feel like you've got a fairly good balance between the two? Wendy's saying 4 feminine, all masculine. So you ticked all the masculines and just 4 of the feminine. Okay, great. Helen, I definitely flow between the empowered and disempowered. Okay, so we haven't even looked at the disempowered yet, but yes, that will be happening as well, darling. Claudia, 8 of the feminine and 11 of the masculine. Okay. Clara, more feminine. I'm not surprised by that with you, Clara. I've got that sense of you. But don't forget, we're not making the masculine wrong. We actually want you having both. The masculine makes our dreams come true. I'm going to get to that. It brings things into being. More balanced since doing this course. That's awesome, Emma. Yes. And when you say this course, you don't just mean LoveFest, do you? Do you mean the work you've been doing leading up to now? Christine, a lot more in my masculine. And you're not going to be alone there. Mainly good balance, definitely more masculine at work. Yes, and exactly right. And that makes sense. We do need our masculine at work. We need our masculine to be good parents. Like, mothering is a very masculine role. It requires a lot of masculine energy. There's stuff to get done. There's shopping, there's cooking, there's doing homework, there's, I don't know, driving to, I've just come back from hockey practice. Like, there's stuff to do. Jess, I think a bit of all, but higher and masculine in frequency, although in some contexts more feminine when doing more fun activities. Yeah, that's really nice. I like your self-awareness there. Clara, I know you aren't surprised. Yes. Emma, LoveFest has been a big shift for me. Oh, that's amazing, Emma. Wow. I think you'd get a lot from the Self-Love Essential collection, by the way. I really, really do. Irene, Irene, feminine traits 5, masculine traits 10. Charlie, more of my masculine, but of course you're slowly getting more balanced. Yes, you are, because you're working towards that beautifully. Cool. Thanks for sharing, ladies. And as you can see, only a few of you have commented, but the majority are more skewing towards the masculine. Yeah, and that's just what we learned. It's the society that we've grown up in. Jane's got 10 and 10. Oh, super equal. Nice. You've basically, your 10-10 is just sort of like pushed aside what I just said. Okay, so let's take a look at this. My beautiful little Russian doll. This is what I'm really, really hoping that you'll take away tonight. It has a deep understanding of the importance of the feminine and how the feminine works. It's okay, Jane. So bear with me, because I need to kind of just reset myself to be able to explain this from my heart. Because I really like to feel when I'm teaching. I don't just like to say it. So I like to, so just give me a minute to reset. Let me just have some chamomile. All right. So, you know how you're always hearing from women's empowerment teachers, people, women like me who are focused on women's well-being, women's empowerment, your healing and transformation. People who work in the self-development, women's empowerment space are always saying the importance of things like having fun, having orgasms, eating clean, doing your journaling, feeling your feelings, movement, being in sisterhood, dance, play, tapping into your desires. I'm trying really hard to read this writing. I can't even see it. Your sensuality, meditation, all these things, all of these beautiful, I would call them self-love practices. I would call them self-care practices, spiritual practices, daily feminine practices. I know you've heard it said how important they are, but why? Why are they so important? And why do we call them feminine practices? It's because all of these practices have us tapped into our body. Can you feel that? We're tapping into our body when we're choosing to spend time in practices like this. We're honoring our body. We're being in our body. We're using our body. We're present in our body. Remember, I said the body is the home of the feminine. And these practices, you can see the arrow there. So the arrow pointing up, it goes from the feminine practices up into the body. So they bring us into the body. And once they're in it, we're present in our body in this way, our energy is instantly transformed into a receiving mode. We're in a receiving state. And it's at this place that we feel like these words are written inside the Russian doll. We've got allow, be, rest, relax, peace, creative, soft, receptive, collaborative, feeling, sensing, intuition, surrendering. These are the words that describe the feminine from that original list. Yeah. So to tap into our feminine energy, we have to move ourselves into a receiving state. Then we can feel our feminine. The practices that take us there are those listed at the bottom of that sheet. So I hope you're understanding why they're important. We want to be present in our body because there in our body, we are being, we are resting, we are relaxing. We're in a state of surrender, which isn't giving up and it's not passive. It's very powerful. The feminine state of receivership and surrender is very powerful. And it's from that state that we can receive in our desires. It's also, actually the step before that, it's also the state in which we receive in our intuitive guidance. It's where we can tap into and hear our inner wisdom. It's where we get our downloads of inspired ideas. It's the state in which we receive our desires. We hear our desires. We hear the whispers of our soul saying, I want this. I want to move in that direction. I want to feel like that. I want to create that. It's where we get our big visions. We get our big inspired ideas. And it's from this place that we can begin to feel really, really purposeful in the world. Because if we're not tapped into our body, tapped into our feminine energy in this state of receivership, feeling into and receiving our own unique divine guidance. If we're not doing that, then we're just on this treadmill, this hamster wheel of life, doing, and we're doing from a place of conditioning because they say that you should and you don't stop working till you're 65 and you should be earning this much money and I'm really good at that. So because I'm good at it and it makes me a lot of money, I'll do it, but I'm not actually feeling into what is my truth. And we wonder why we're exhausted. We wonder why we're burnt out and why we're having breakdowns and we're not dealing with life. And oh, what a surprise, my relationships are suffering as a result too. Or I don't even have time for them because I'm exhausted on the treadmill of doing, which, by the way, is disempowered masculine energy. And we're going to get to that in a minute. So if you want to be tapped into your empowered feminine energy, it's through your feminine practices. It's being present in your body and allowing yourself the time and space to just be and receive your guidance. How does that land for you? Does anybody have any comments on that? What comes up for you as I share that with you? I love talking about this. It feels so juicy and so important. Imagine if every man and woman on the planet operated from a place of valuing doing life from this place. Because that's really the problem for all of us and with the world is the feminine practices and the feminine energy and the state of the feminine has not been valued. And so we're like headless chickens running around doing and working and making things happen. We're not being divinely guided. We're on autopilot. We're operating from conditioning, largely sabotaging conditioning. It's conditioning of a very disempowered patriarchal world that we've been living in for centuries. And we're just repeating generational shit. We're not actually feeling into our truth and moving forward from that place. Like I was really good in corporate. I was really good at my jobs. I've had a few different corporate type jobs from sort of PR and advertising, moving into the events management space, then specializing very much in sort of the sports events world. And I didn't not like it. There was elements of it all that was quite creative. I loved the travel. The travel really, really lit me up. There's elements of it that was great, and it wasn't really me. Like, I could do it, and I could do it well, and I was a people pleaser and a good girl, so I always overperformed and gave more than I was being paid to do, by the way. And it was fine, and I was exhausted, and I just didn't feel aligned with me. And I know that, I mean, the work I do now is it's like it's a calling more than it's work. It is a calling. It's like I don't even have a choice. Of course, I'm always in choice, but I don't really have a choice because I'm called to this and I happen to love it and it lights me up. And because it feeds my soul, it literally feeds my soul. And in fact, my work has been a healing of me completely as well. So while I help other women to heal, my work has healed me and it heals me every day. So it's a beautiful win-win all the time. And excuse me, from that energy, I'm bringing that to my friendships. I'm bringing that to my parenting. I'm bringing that to my marriage. People weren't getting that version of me before. They were getting an exhausted, quite highly strung, stressed version. Now, I do get stressed with my business sometimes. Of course I do. But not in the way that I did when I worked in corporate and when I had jobs that weren't my calling. Now, I'm not saying you need to feel like your work is a calling. That's quite a maybe even a triggering word. It's quite a strong word, but oh, Sarah's okay. I'll read the comments in just a minute. Sorry, I just got distracted by the comments. But yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. You get what I'm trying to say. Let me have a little look at these comments. Emma's having a light bulb moment. It's making so much sense. You see, Emma, I know that this isn't that new to you. I know that. But you have shifted and you're ready for it now. I'm very excited for you. It's a beautiful place to be, Helen. Yes, it is. It makes so much sense, doesn't it? I'm so glad. I'm so, so glad. Clara, it's so important. Normally, I live like this lately. I am being not always that good and listening to my body. Okay, so course correct. That's okay. You can course correct. Lorraine, I've been on that treadmill of masculine doing for a very long time. My relationships failed. This is an eye-opener. Yes. Yes. Lisa saying, I'm definitely burning myself out with masculine empowerment, but finally introducing more feminine empowerment. Hallelujah. Very good. We are going to discover in a minute that if you're burning yourself out, there's nothing empowered in terms of your masculine energy. Your empowered masculine will never allow you to burn out, ever. Okay? Ever. We'll come to that. And Sarah had to go. I hope your sister is okay, my darling. I hope everything is okay. Sending you lots of love. Yes. Okay. So, utopia. Let's talk about utopia. So, right. What do I want to say about utopia? I need to reset. Give me a minute. I need to tap back in. Okay. Let me look at my next slide to make sure I'm not jumping ahead. All right, good. So when your empowered feminine and empowered masculine energy are dancing in flow, this is what's happening. Your feminine is in a receiving state. So she has, let's just go back a slide. So she's in her receiving state because she's been doing her feminine practices. She's present in her body, and therefore she's tapped into source energy. Yeah, she's receiving downloads from source energy. She's receiving from her own spiritual self. Okay, she's tapped in. From that receiving state, she'll get an incredible new idea. Let's say she has an idea for a new business, as an example. She gets this great idea. So the feminine then, so she receives the idea, and then the next step is she asks. Do you remember on day one when we went through the 7 pillars of self-love? The final pillar was asking. The feminine asks, because asking is the first step to receiving. So she asks. It's a bit like a dialogue. So when I'm talking about masculine, feminine energy, I will say he and she. There's no gender, but it's my kind of fun way of speaking to it. So she has received her divine idea, and then she essentially asks her own inner masculine to make it happen. And then her inner masculine takes inspired action. And hear what I say there, inspired action. It's not action for the sake of action. It's not action for the sake of busyness, to keep up appearances, to do what you think you should do. It's inspired action because it's been directed by the feminine. The empowered masculine is inspired by the feminine, not by disempowered patriarchy and shoulds and conditioning, right? That's the disempowered masculine. The empowered masculine is inspired by the empowered feminine. And the empowered masculine, that energy, the modus operandi of the energy, the reason for it being in existence is to serve and honor the desires of the feminine. It's just that the masculine energy wants to make the feminine idea become reality. And so it will take physical action. It'll do what needs to be done. It'll get stuff done. It'll Google stuff. It'll make phone calls. It will build stuff. What is required to make your dream happen? Your empowered masculine will do that. And the reason it's empowered is not only that it's been inspired by the feminine, but it will do it in a way that does not harm you, hurt you, burn you out. Your empowered masculine will only take action in a way that feels good for you. And if that means you have the action taking requires breaks throughout the day, or can only work on certain days of the week, or any number of things. The key thing for you to know right now is the empowered masculine will only take inspired action in a way that feels good for you. And then the feminine says, thank you. So appreciation and gratitude is the final step. She says, thank you. Again, it's not he, she, but thank you. And the appreciation and gratitude has the masculine want to do it again. So you've got this beautiful flow going backwards and forwards between the two. Does that make sense? She receives her ideas. She asks for help. The help comes and it feels good. And she says, thank you. And she receives the ideas. She asks for help. The help comes. She receives the help and says, thank you. That's how it goes. I'm going to have a quick look at the comments. Carol is saying, it feels like I have space now. My children are adults to move into a more feminine way of living life. I'd love to know how it's possible to do it when building a home and family. I think this is why my marriage ended, not because we were wrong for each other, but because we both probably lived life from our disempowered states. I wish I could help people know this stuff before they hit the pain level. Yeah, well, darling, I am a woman with a teenager and my husband has 2 teenagers, and I've been living like this since my son was quite a bit younger, and as a single parent doing it all on my own. So you can do it with children. It's a choice. You can do it while building a home and a family. It's a choice. But it does take practice because no one showed us how. No one showed us this way. We live in a very disempowered, toxic, patriarchal world. There's a shift happening. I'm hoping you can all feel it. Men and women are shifting more into a space of valuing the feminine, but for so long we haven't. Jess says, I was much more in masculine when I worked in marketing and events too. Yeah. Now I'm a therapist. Yeah. I'm much more in feminine, at least at work, but still managed to get in doing mode. It's hardwired. It is until it's not. And it's a practice. Yeah. It's a practice. And that's why, sorry to bang on about it, but in the Self-Love Essential collection, that's why I pulled together these resources that help you create plans for yourself day to day that have you working and showing up in life in a way that you're prioritizing taking care of yourself, prioritizing the feminine, prioritizing time where you're surrendered, you're being, you're resting, you're being still. You've got to learn that it's okay, that it's safe to stop, because we haven't learned that. We've learned that it's not safe to stop. We don't trust that. Clara, it feels so much love and safety. I love this. Yes. Yes, it does make sense. Great. Great. So the disempowered feminine and the disempowered masculine, this is what it looks like. Hold on, I'm just going to change my screen so you can see it all. There we go. So this is what a disempowered person looks like. See what you can relate to. Disempowered feminine is people pleasing. So we've talked a lot. Basically, the last couple of days, we've touched on some of these. People pleasing, servant to men, servant to money, servant to other people's needs. Guilt, putting herself last, disconnected to desire, submissive, disrespects her body. And I'm saying her, actually. Remember, men and women both do this. Submissive, martyr, lives in survival mode, walks on eggshells, doesn't charge her worth, doesn't trust the masculine. Now, it makes sense that she doesn't trust the masculine because she's engaging with the disempowered masculine, and the disempowered masculine will make her work to her own detriment. It will exhaust her. She will burn out. You cannot trust that. Why would you trust that? So she doesn't trust the masculine. The disempowered masculine energy is busy, aggressive, forceful, impatient, rushing, controlling, exhausted, scarcity, fears worst case scenario, values action, can't stop, must figure everything out, and does not trust the feminine. And why doesn't the disempowered masculine trust the feminine? Because the feminine has no time scale. There's no deadlines. It seems to be a little bit wishy-washy. It's not concrete enough. It's all about feelings and being and creativity. It's like, oh, we don't have time for that. What a waste of time, thinks the disempowered masculine. Scared to stop. Exactly, Jess. Exactly. So I'm just going to skip ahead a couple of slides because I've forgotten what I was teaching for a second there. Yeah. So what do I want to say about this? The reason most of us are in such a pickle is because we have this internal war going on inside of ourselves where we don't trust we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust our masculine energy because historically our masculine has hurt us, has worked us to the bone, has disrespected our bodies, has had us burning out and feeling stressed. How can we trust the masculine? I mean, there's a huge part of my own personal story is I didn't ever trust my own inner masculine because I was only relating to a disempowered masculine. I didn't even know I had an empowered masculine energy who just wanted to love and honor and cherish and take care of me. I didn't know there was an energy within me that could get things done while taking care of me with deep respect and love. And when I realized that about myself, my own inner energy, that became how the lens through which I could look at men. I only saw men as humans that would disrespect me, cheat on me, hurt me. I couldn't trust them. And while that was my experience internally and externally, so it was. I wasn't having healthy relationships with men that I could trust with my heart, that I could trust with my body. So it was really a massively important part of my own journey to change up my relationship to my inner masculine, as well as the external masculine. And I had to learn to really trust my feminine. I had to learn to value spending time in the feminine, value time feeling my feelings, value time doing my journaling, value time doing my healing work. That's the feminine. I had to value that. And when I began to value that, everything started to shift. And not only, so valuing the feminine, it wasn't just, excuse me, it wasn't just learning to slow down and stop and honoring my body and enjoying beautiful spiritual practices. It was doing my emotional healing work. I was very much in my feminine with that. And it was valuing the time that took. It was valuing the money that took, the investment in that. It was valuing that as I did that and as I healed my disempowered feminine traits, for me, people pleasing, the servant, disconnected to my desires, martyr, living in survival mode, guilt, like not charging my worth, like all of these pieces, that was very much my experience. And I had to value taking the time, spending the money, investing the money as it happens. It was a massive investment, not a waste. Doing that work changed everything. It enabled me to step into my to become an empowered woman with masculine and feminine empowered energies. And of course, disempowered behaviors still come up for me, and they will for you, of course. But we know them, we recognize them. We get to a place with our personal growth work of understanding it. We can acknowledge it. We can course correct. So, how to be an empowered and confident woman? You do your healing work. You learn to value and trust the feminine. You allow the masculine to support you. You only do what feels good. You acknowledge yourself every step of the way, and you practice this. Practice, practice, practice. Remember, we only learned one way of doing life. Here we are learning a completely different way of doing life. And it's through finding this beautiful balance between your own empowered masculine and empowered feminine energy that you can begin to trust yourself. And when you develop that trust within yourself, you have that flow and trust, you can take that trust externally. Others can trust you because you trust you. When you got you, others can trust you. And you can trust others because no matter what, you've got you. Does that make sense? So let's go back to that original question. Ask yourself, how would my relationships change if I was more in tune with my empowered masculine and feminine energies? What do I need to heal within myself to create that experience? What do I need to heal within myself to create that experience? Remember, I said that LoveFest is very much about creating awareness and really tapping into what it is within us that's causing us dissatisfaction. I'm here to disrupt you. So I really want you to answer that question for yourself. What do I need to heal within myself to create that experience? And by all means, post your answer in the comments if you're feeling courageous. And maybe consider, go back to these slides, this here. What needs to heal? Right, I'm going to take a look at the comments. Carol is saying, wow, it's taken 2 years for me to listen to and receive my empowered feminine's feelings. I was inspired to ask my ex to communicate about things I journaled 2 years ago. My masculine side made it happen. Yeah, you're empowered masculine. I love the way the flow between the two works. I think I'm just realizing we have to be patient for learning to internalize in us. It makes me feel I'm learning. Yes, we do have to be patient. Of course we do. It's an embodiment. Lisa's saying, after reading all those, I'm all of the disempowered feminine and 7 of the disempowered masculine, not aggressive, impatient, or forceful. Good awareness. And so that is information. Information is power. Awareness, remember, awareness is the first step to change. We don't know where we're going without the awareness. We don't even know there's somewhere different to be without the awareness. Clara, only the people pleasing, still a bit, and with the masculine, still a little bit. The must figure everything out. Yeah, controlling, but it's not much anymore. I am and was super committed to change behavior, old patterns, limiting beliefs, and old coping mechanisms. And so powerful, loving work to do for you. Yes, it is. Healing the inner child. That, that's what's next for you. Perfect. Good to know. Keep on connecting with a deep trust. Practice staying centered in my own energy. Connect with joy. Yes, beautiful. So that's what you now need to do, Clara. That's what you're sharing. Really good. Jess, I think fear of sadness and feeling lonely makes me go into disempowered parts of both. I don't stop because who knows? That's what I need to heal, I think. Yeah, like what will happen if I stop? I have to control everything. It's a control piece, and it makes sense, the control. It's like, if I'm not in control of everything, my survival might be at risk, is the deep primal conditioning. Of course, it's not true, but fear, false evidence appearing real. Fear. It's not true. Just because you think it doesn't make it true. Yeah. Now, I know that there was some other questions. Let me just change my screen for a moment. I'm back. Hello. I'm just going to go over to Facebook to a post that I did earlier today, because I think Emma, you've been so active throughout LoveFest. I love it. You've left me a couple of comments. So I'm going to just read out your questions. And while I'm answering Emma's questions, if anybody else has questions and you want to pop them in the feed here tonight, now, then I would love to answer them before we wrap up this evening. Okay, so Emma has asked, I am answering the questions and need a little help on this question. So you're obviously talking about the playbook. And by the way, in the comments, let me know who did the meditation today. I'd love to hear the self-love meditation. Did you enjoy it? I would love to hear that. I'm answering the questions and need a little help on this question. What do you know will change in your life if you had a healthier masculine, feminine energy flow? I've answered the feminine energy question easily. More connection, more loving, calmer, stronger relationships. For the masculine, feminine, all I can think of is more balance. Any help would be appreciated to explain this more. Can you also guide on to-do list? 1, tell Ben thoughts from today. 2, go to Pilates. Should these be literal things on a to-do list? Is this more for people with very busy lives with family, children? Today is quite quiet for me and I have already accomplished a lot. I think I might be missing the point. Okay, well, I'm hoping, Emma, that what I just shared with you was helpful. Are you here? Are you asking anything? No. I feel like what I just shared might be answering your question. I'm not fully understanding the first question, if I'm honest. For the masculine, all I can think of is more balance. I don't really understand your first question. The to-do list, what I was getting at with that was, it's that thing of, on those days when you have a lot to do, how can you get your work done and get your to-do list done in a way that's self-honoring, and that includes self-care, that you're not just pushing through the to-do list, getting as much done as possible without consideration of how you feel and what you need. Like, have you taken a wee break? Did you have lunch? Have you eaten today? Basic things. Do you need a nap in the afternoon? Would it be better to do nothing today? Does your body need a rest and you'll do better tomorrow as a result? That's kind of where I was getting to with that. Okay, so you're saying, I understand now. Yeah, it has helped. Okay, good. Makes it. Yeah, I think that what I just shared with you probably does bring it all to light a little better. Excuse me. And you've said, I've had an epiphany. I know this is a ladies group, but I'm curious and think I already know the answer. Do men also have the same thing? Yes. Empowering, disempowering, masculine, feminine traits. Yes. In a relationship, if a female is exhibiting masculine, disempowering traits, does this go against the man's empowering traits? So men, women, it's all the same. We all have the same. But what I would say is, when I was speaking to, okay, so something I didn't share in the training, but I'll touch on now, is when I was speaking to the flow of our internal masculine, feminine energy. So the feminine receives, asks the masculine for support to make it happen. She receives his support and he gives it freely and with love. And she says, thank you. And then she asks, and then we do that. It's the same between two people in a relationship, whether it's two men, whether it's two women, whether it's a man and a woman, it doesn't matter. Both people have masculine, feminine energy inside them. It's not it's inside, it's just, we are masculine and feminine energy. And we bring forward what's required. So sometimes it will be, in my relationship, for example, so James will receive his inspired idea and he'll be like, I want to make that happen. And he might need my help to make something happen. And he'll ask me for help, and it will be my masculine energy will step forward to do what needs to get done to help him, and vice versa. So sometimes I am required to be in my masculine to help my partner and support my partner. Same with my parenting. My masculine energy comes forward to support my son sometimes, or it's my feminine that's required. And when I'm in my feminine with my husband, I can receive his support. I'm available to receive him. I can be vulnerable. I can be open-hearted. So we're always moving between the two. And yes, sometimes we're more predominantly in our masculine and our feminine, depending on what's going on. You know, like I've been very much in my masculine energy, pulling together LoveFest the last sort of 6-8 weeks. But I've been taking care of myself in the process, so I am not burnt out. I'm tired. I'm not going to lie. Well, I'm a little bit tired. James said to me today, you must be exhausted. I said, no, I'm a little bit tired, but it's 9 o'clock at night right now. I'm a little bit tired. I usually go to bed at 9:30, latest. That's how I take care of myself, though. If we're watching TV, it goes off at 9. And we have a strong bedtime routine where we really take care of ourselves. Going to bed early is really important to us because we like to get up early. I'm my most creative and in flow first thing in the morning. That's when I will meditate. That's when I will walk. Sometimes I will actually put that off for a couple of hours and work first thing early in the morning because I'm so creative and full of inspiration. All my ideas come forward first thing in the morning. My business gets its best ideas first thing in the morning from me because I've been in receiving mode all night long, having a really good sleep because I went to bed early, because I take care of myself. Do you know? So yeah, anyway, I'm going off on tangents, I know. But I hope that is helpful, Emma. Carol saying, I didn't used to stop Jess as a distraction of having to face the sadness, loneliness. It has been an emotional journey trying to change behaviors, and I'm still working on it. It's really worthwhile. I now feel like doing less is better. Yes. And oh, hold on. I think, were you just responding to somebody else? Yes, you were, to Jess, and I've missed some of the comments. That's why. Okay. Yeah, well, that's the thing, like I said, we've learned to not trust the feminine, and we've learned to not value the feminine, because our disempowered toxic masculine says that it's a waste of time, because the disempowered masculine is coming from a place of fear and scarcity. Our empowered self is coming from a place of love. Our disempowered self is coming from a place of fear and scarcity and not enough. And so our disempowered masculine is always taking action from a place of competition. I've got to get there first. I might miss out. We don't have time to waste. And so the activity of the feminine looks to the disempowered masculine like you're doing nothing. You're not achieving anything. It's not demonstrable. I can't see it on a spreadsheet. I don't know how long it's going to take. I need a timeline. We're going too slow. What a waste of time, right? So this that's how we've been relating to the feminine, but it's clearly not very healthy. So we're having to learn to value and trust the feminine now. Claudia, I think there's still some healing from my childhood that needs to happen. This has been a big part of my identity, and I don't want it to be anymore. Really great. Yes, and you're probably right there. Kim, my job stress is owning a high stress business, and working 24/7 at deadlines keeps me in disempowered masculine so much of the time. I'm starting to feel I can't get away from it without retiring. I do lots of self-care, but it still depletes me. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, just to say, sometimes self-care can become something on our tick list, which is then it means we're doing self-care and we're not receiving self-care. It's another thing to get done because I should and it looks good and they say I must. And of course, it does make you feel a bit better, but it's not a deep receiving of it. It's that subtle energetic shift. Great, you did the meditation. I'm so glad. Carol's going to do the meditation before bed. Yvonne, meditation can keep a person awake for some people. It does for me. So meditate early in the morning and evening, not bedtime. Yeah, it's different for everybody though. Yeah, different for everyone. I sometimes meditate right before bed and sleep like a baby. I enjoy it first thing in the morning, and it definitely sets me up for the day. We're all different. Definitely different. I know a lot of women who fall asleep during meditation because actually that's what their body needs more than a meditation. They just need to sleep, and it slows them down. It has them stop to be able to rest. I love to meditate first thing and last thing. Sandwiches the day for me. Yeah, my meditation teachers have taught me to actually meditate 3 times a day: morning, middle of the day, night. But at nighttime, what I've been taught actually, ideally, is to meditate before dinner. Then have dinner and then rest into the evening. But whatever. I mean, you know what? I think there's no prescription on that, and we must find our own way. Awesome. I'm so glad. I was treating self-care as a tick list before LoveFest. Yeah, it's a thing. That's when we get tricked. Our masculine is like, oh, right. Let me just turn the feminine activity into a to-do list. Then I can value it, and then I can make it okay. And then it makes sense to me. The activity of the feminine isn't meant to make sense. We feel it. We know it. We intuit it. So much of that, my husband has learned to, he's learned me how I am. Like, so often I can't explain why I know something or why I'm believing something. I feel it and I just know it. And I've learned to trust my feminine, because when I'm guided by that, life is so much better. I'm taken in on so much more interesting paths and routes through my life if I don't presume to think I know all the answers and can allow myself to receive my guidance and be taken where that leads me, it's so much more magical and so much more aligned with me. And I've also come to know, and I bet a lot of you have experienced this, that when we do actually dare to trust and value our feminine and stop and be, and if we need a day off, we take it. If we need some time out, we rest. From that place of rest and surrender, we actually then, when we are then inspired into action, the action is quicker. We find hacks, we find shortcuts, miraculous things happen where things that were on our to-do list drop off because they just somehow miraculously got done, like someone else did it for us, or suddenly it wasn't needed anymore, or there was a new shortcut discovered. Like, that's what happens when we give ourselves the time and space to surrender into our feminine. And that's what I mean. You know, your frequency is pure magic. So when we align our masculine and feminine, when we learn to value this, it's game changing, not just for how we feel within ourselves, but how we turn up and show up in relationships. Great, Emma. Glad you loved it. I'm always more an evening person. I love to meditate in the evening or listen to sleep meditations. Yeah, lovely. Each to their own, right? Each to their own. Oh, my darlings. So, I'll read this one final comment and then we're going to wrap up. Does anybody have any questions about the Self-Love Essential Collection before I go? I've realized that all my anxiety is from my childhood and how I react to certain situations, and my relationship with food due to mealtimes being so awful with my dad, how physically abusive he was. I'm working through it and finally understanding how to cope. Beautiful, darling. That's really beautiful. Keep working through it, and I hope you have support. You don't have to do it on your own. That's the other thing. The feminine is all about sisterhood. She's all about not doing it on her own, receiving guidance. She's open to that. Things happen faster when she asks for help and receives support. So it has been an absolute pleasure to spend the last 3, including Sunday night, 4 nights with you. Thank you so much for being with me. It's been such an honor. I hope you've enjoyed it. You've got the playbook, so if you haven't finished working through those, you can still do that. You've got them, do it in your own time. You've got access to those meditations. Enjoy them. If you would like to take this work deeper, if you want to actually turn your awareness into real life transformation and change, you know a lot now. The last 3 nights, you've learned a lot, and now it's time to bring it down and embody it and do the healing work. You can't think about the healing work. You can't know it. You don't get change from knowing it. You have to experience it. And the way I've designed, like if you enjoyed the way I designed the lines of questioning here in LoveFest, you're going to love the way I design my home study programs. So Love Yourself Free from People Pleasing, Self-Love 101. My style is replicated in these programs, but with video content, audio content, more in-depth worksheets. There's more. And it will take you on a real journey to really understanding your self-sabotage, really healing your childhood wounds, really connecting in with your inner child and properly learning how to reparent her. It will ask you questions that will shine a light on what's really going on for you that you can't see for yourself now. It's only through the lines of questionings that you'll get your aha moments. You won't get your aha moments from just thinking the same things you think all the time. You need somebody else to disrupt you with questions that get you going deeper and thinking from different angles. That's the whole point of this work. Okay? And you wouldn't have come to LoveFest if you didn't know there was something within you that needs healing, so that you can have a better relationship with yourself where you know and love yourself more, and so that you can show up differently in relationships and call in, if you're single, call in your magnificent soulmate who, ... those of you who've done my 5-day challenge know, is looking for you too. Your person is looking for you too. So this healing work is about preparing yourself for that person. This healing work is helping you to become the vibrational match for the person you want to have a relationship with. And if you're already in relationship, this is the healing work that will have you show up even better, and you will inspire them to up level as well by doing your own work. But you've got to do the work. It doesn't just happen. I haven't kept an eye on my email, but from when I started this call tonight, there was still a couple of places left for the early bird. So for the first 10 who purchase the Self-Love Essential Collection, you will get your one-to-one 30-minute call with me. Don't forget, everybody who purchases gets a month free in the Love Lounge. I can coach you in there. I can't wait to meet you. We'll get on Zoom calls. We see each other. You'll meet your sisters. We're all doing this work together. It's an awesome community. And if you have any questions about it at all, you are all my Facebook friends. So you're so welcome to Facebook message me. You can email support@theschoolofself.love with any questions that you have. We will respond to you. If my team can't respond to you, I will personally respond to you. And I'm here for you. I'm here. I want to help you. I want to actually help you to create proper change in your life, to have you moving from fear to love every single day, overcoming your humanness every single day. That's what doing the work does. And if you're in the Love Lounge, I can really keep an eye on you and support you there too. So thank you again for sharing your time with me the last few days. I really, really appreciate it. Stay in my world. If you haven't done my Meet Your Soulmate Challenge, we'll be doing another one in a couple of months. So you're so welcome to come to that. Please know that this work and the Self-Love Essential Collection is the perfect foundational place from which to leapfrog into the Meet Your Soulmate Challenge. So this stuff here we're doing is so foundational to what we do there. Right? So if you're here, start here, do this work here, and then move up into the empowered feminine dating work, which is next level, different body of work. Okie dokie. Let me just have a little quick look at the comments. Helen saying, thank you for all you've shared. My pleasure, darling. Thank you for being here with me. Fantastic, Clara. Yes, you can watch the replay from yesterday. Of course, it's right there for you. It doesn't disappear. Carol, your vibrant, smiley self, full of such wisdom, always inspires me. My pleasure, Carol. Thank you for joining. Yes, I got confirmation that he is indeed searching for me too. Yay, I'm so glad. Of course he is. It's been so amazing, so much valuable information that I'm so glad I'm open to hear and take in. I'm so glad you're open to hear it and take it in as well, Claudia. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. We've got to be ready, right? My pleasure, Clara. Pleasure, Emma. No worries, Jess. Thank you, Karen. Thanks, Lisa. Thank you. My pleasure, Lorraine. Yes, connect soon. Oh, Christine. Hiya. You're very welcome. You're so, so welcome. Thank you for being here, darlings. Good night. Mwah. Love you lots.